Hey, Impact, in case you missed it, we're entering into a season of Advent. And as part of this, we're going through this season of waiting. And as we kind of go through these different messages over the next 4 weeks, the hope is that Dustin introduced a book for us to go through as a church. And if you're part of that, you can follow along. And also with that, there was a little journal that you could write and reflect on as we go through this, because each week there's going to be a series of questions that will tie in with the message and help us to continue to explore the tension of waiting. And so the hope is that over this next month leading up to Christmas, that you would join us in this. And as part of this, one of the things that I thought would be cool to do is to go through this with you as well. And so each week I'm going to be asking a different staff member one of the questions that we're going through that you may answer. And so just as a way of kind of for us to share what's going on with us as you kind of explore these different topics. All right, so week one, we were talking about this idea of waiting, that Advent is a season where we intentionally wait for Christmas rather than skipping right to what is often a really popular holiday of Christmas. And so this week, I'm asking Deb, so what's something that you're in this season waiting for?
Yes, so it seems that we've been kind of in a waiting period for a couple of years at our house. My husband's job has told us that eventually they would be selling the property that they work at and the plant would be closing. And so we've kind of known this in the back of our minds for probably about 2 years now. And then all of a sudden in about 2 weeks ago, the big bosses all came down and talked with everybody at the plant and basically said, the plant is sold. We're going to be out of the building by the end of January. And so here we've been waiting, just kind of not sure, trying to make plans on our own, figuring out what we're going to do next. Do we stay with the company? Do we not? That kind of thing. And well, that made the decision right there, the end of January, that plant's closed. And I can say that we've gone through a range of emotions with that. It helps to know to finally have a deadline, like, okay, this is the deadline, the end of January. That helps. But there is still so much unknown in that. We've wrestled with, are we moving? Are we staying? All of those things that you think about in that process of, what's next. There might be options for us to stay and go to for him to work at one of the other plants in California, within an hour of us. So that might even be an option, but there is still so much unknown in the middle of all of this, And so my husband and I, John, we've talked about this of, next steps. What are we going to do next? Our family life is so much different now, with our kids all grown and adults and all still living at home, mind you, but there's still, so we have that to consider too. But John and I have just started praying about that of what are those next steps for us, taking time to just be intentional and pray about it, because, when you start to worry and think about all those what ifs and your mind can just run and go crazy places, for me especially. So I've just been intentional about praying about those things because I don't have an answer. And amazingly, that we talk about that peace that passes all understanding, and I feel peace about those next steps. I was talking even with Dustin this week and just saying, I'm surprised in some regards that I do have peace about it, but I keep reminding myself that I know that God has walked ahead of us in this journey. He knows what's coming. So can I trust that? And do I choose to trust that? And I think that that's where that peace has come from that he's giving. But yeah, that tension of just waiting and not knowing is going to be there for a while for us. This is not a quick and easy solution or answer. So we are definitely in that waiting in the unknown stage, because there is going to be something that's going to eventually be happening that we don't know about yet. So that's kind of where we are in that process.
So we hope that you will continue to follow along on these videos, as well as with the questions, and also that if you are comfortable with it, that you will come and join us in person over the next couple weeks, and then obviously for Christmas Eve when we have that service.